If you stay tuned and watch the rest of this episode, I will show you exactly how I installed the urine diverter into the composting toilet and how I cut out for the toilet seat. And if you watch till the end of this episode, I will show you exactly how the composting toilet is going to work, and I will show you how it's going to separate the urine from the number 2. On this episode I will be installing the urine diverter into the composting toilet. One of the main reasons I chose to construct a composting toilet for this camper van was because I travelled for 9 months last year in a Globetrotter, and it had a chemical toilet in it, and it was one of the most disgusting and smelly things that you could imagine. In the heat of the summer, in a heat wave across Europe, there was no way you could keep the thing from smelling. So I'm hoping that the composting toilet, if it isn't half as smelly as the chemical toilet, I will be very happy. And also, it was always hard to find an emptying station because they're only typically at motorhome parks, and they're always smelly and flies everywhere. So I'm hoping that the composting toilet will be far less invasive and far less smelly and messy. So it remains to be seen. I've researched it a lot online, and I think that it's definitely going to be a lot less smelly than chemical toilets. And also, I don't like the idea of having to use chemicals, and then where are those chemicals going once you actually dump it into a motorhome park. I think it's far more beneficial for the environment if I was to use a composting toilet. They're the main reasons. I will show you what I have. The first thing I have is a seat cover for the composting toilet and a nice profile, so it's nice and low, it's not too big and bulky, and it's also a soft close, so it's not going to slam closed when you're using the toilet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the camper, put this on the plywood and draw around it, and just get a feel for the positioning of the actual toilet seat in the van. The other essential component for the composting toilet is a urine diverter, and what that does is it separates your number 1s from your number 2s, and this will go into a separate bucket at the front of the toilet, and then you will have a separate bucket at the back of the toilet for the number 2s. This also has a filter at the bottom, so what this filter is you put it in that hole where the wee goes. This filter goes there, so then when you're actually putting the compost, it might be peat moss or it might be sawdust on top of the number 2, you're not going to get any sawdust shooting down this hole into the urine container. So that's that, and it comes with the instructions. Okay, I'm going to go in and mark out this, and then I'll be back. As you can see, I've now marked out the hole for the toilet. That's where the toilet is going to be going. That's the toilet seat cut out, and as you can see, I have just chamfered around the edge of it, and now I'm going to give that a quick sand just to take the sharp edge off it, take any roughness out of it. So that's the seat take care of, nicely rounded off with the router. that's it. That's how you install a urine diverter into your composting toilet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly how this whole system works. I'll show you exactly how I've separated the number 1 from the number 2. That's how a composting toilet works, is that you keep the two separate, and then that means that you've got less of a smell and you can manage the two of them. So let's go through my setup for the composting toilet. This is the composting toilet seat, and what I've gone for is an easy close seat. So it means when you're finished with using the toilet, if this comes down, that it's not going to slam down, and that it'll close slowly. So that's the toilet seat, and this is the urine diverter. So I've got the toilet seat at the back here, and then I've got this seat here. This is the opening for the 1 and 2. So if you can see back there, you can see here's a bucket and here's the urine diverter. So there's the urine diverter. Here is the filter I showed you earlier on, and that goes down here. So what that does is that filter goes in there like so. So as you can see, the composting toilet is separated in 2. So at the back here we have this bucket for the number 2 at the back, and at the front we have this. It's a camping bucket, so that's for the urine. I'll just take this out. I've cut out a notch here in the front that allows for the spout of the urine diverter to pop down through that, then into the lid of this water container. That's what I'll be storing the urine in. And I have this lid is secured in place using piano hinge bracket. That ledge down there is what the urine container will rest on, and I'll secure that in place with probably a bungee cord. The bucket for the number 2. So what I did was I just kept onto the bucket for the waterproof tanking kit, and I'm going to use that bucket because it's a big size bucket. That will go there, and to the left of that is where I'm going to build a small container so I can actually store the wood shavings, or I think it's peat moss. You can also put on the poo, and then that dries it out and it stops it from smelling. So that's it. Here I have the water container that goes in, and then it lines up there like so. Then this actually pops down into it. So if you can see, I cut, I made the hole and then I cut it with a knife all around, so that means then that when this slots down, that it slots into it really securely. So it's not loose at all, it's actually really secure. There we go, and it pops in, and that means that there'll be no movement of that container and no splashing. So then we get the filter, put that down there. That is the composting toilet. That's the end of this episode. I now have the urine diverter installed into the composting toilet. The composting toilet is now complete. It's a simple enough process. It just takes a bit of time to think it out and to make sure that you have everything in the right place. I hope you found this episode useful. I hope it gives you some ideas and some tips for your own van build. And if you did enjoy it, please do give it a like. Also subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell icon. That means you'll be the first to be notified for future vlogs in this van build series. And I will see you on the next one. Good luck.